Good morning to all the participants. I welcome Dr. Arul sir, NIT Nagaland, Professor in Computer Science. He is an expert in data science and also IoT. I request all the participants to mute. Some of them are discussing. I request all the participants to please mute. Shall we start, sir? Arul sir?
Yes, sir. I am ready, sir. No problem, sir.
Okay. So you start presenting. Welcome. You start presenting. Today, Dr. Arul this session, he will be discussing about the machine learning and machine metrics he will be discussing. So you start, sir.
Okay. So good morning to one and all. So first of all, I express my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Murugan sir, as well as the head of the department and the principal of IRTT for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this Atal FDP program. So thank you, sir. Especially thank you, Murugan sir. Am I audible?
You are audible, sir. You present.
Okay.
You are audible.
Okay. My screen also visible?
Yes.
Okay. So our theme of the FDP program is the data science. Okay. So, but then why we are discussing about the machine learning? What is the role of machine learning and why the machine learning is coming into the picture of data science or data analytics? So that we will discuss today. So today this session and afternoon session also myself. Okay. So I will try to make it is some interesting level. So if you are talking about generally data science means, so data science is nothing but we are analyze the data. So nowadays, so data is not in the form of any way, any source we are gathered that we are getting the data, whether it is a social media or whether it is a machine generated or whether it is a whatever it may be. So we are gathered, we are having the huge amount of data. But how you are analyzing the data, how the data is help in our further analysis, how we are insight from the data, how we are getting some useful information from the data is a huge question mark. So that we can achieve with the help of the machine learning. So machine learning will help us to provide or to get insight into the data and giving some pattern from the data or getting some useful information or knowledge from the data. So that is a concept of machine learning. So that only whenever you are discussing about the data science, we cannot able to leave the machine learning. So definitely machine learning is one of the main part of along with the data science or data analytics. Okay, whenever we are talking about the machine learning, so here maybe some of the slides or some of the topics you may be repeat because yesterday this is my, I think this is your fourth session or third session. So earlier also some of them expert already they may discuss about the data science and the machine learning also. But anyway, same topic, same concept you are getting, you are hearing from the some other expert in some other angle also, it will not be waste. Okay. So whenever we are talking about the machine learning, so machine learning is nothing but it is one of the subset of the artificial intelligence, or we can say it is a cognitive computing or cognitive intelligence also. So our root of that machine learning is a sandwich. Okay. So top of the machine learning, AA is there. So AA means it is nothing but we are creating some machine is act as far as a human being. Whatever we are getting from the human being, the same thing we have to get it from that some machines that we have to help of some the algorithms are there. Okay. That is the concept of AA, artificial intelligence. And the machine learning means we are using some algorithm or we are using some techniques to create a machine that will act as a human being. Okay. So in the machine learning, we are using the n number of algorithms are there. Supervised learning, unsupervised learning, reinforcement learning. In supervised learning also, support vector machine, then the decision tree, base classification. So many algorithms are there in that machine learning concept. Exclusively if you are considering only the neural network, so only we are using only the neural network based algorithm, then we can say it is a deep learning. So nowadays deep learning is dominating the most of the research areas. Most of the machine learning problems we are converting into the deep learning. So comparing with the machine learning, deep learning will give that the problem will give the more accuracy comparing with the machine learning. And exclusively, suppose if you want to do the some image analytics, suppose image classification nowadays. So nowadays everybody we know that the COVID-19. So COVID-19, lot of research going on in the COVID-19. So for that I want to analyze for example whether the particular person having COVID. Okay, so for that normally we are taking the blood as well as the temperature, or whether we are checking that whether we are having the any respiration, any cough issue. But other than that, sometimes I want to analyze some X-ray image, some image kind of data also I have to give to that algorithm as a input means, then we got to go with the deep learning. So deep learning is mainly used for the some image kind of analysis or some time series kind of analysis means, then the deep learning is more benefit, more helpful. So for that deep learning means only we are using the neural network based algorithm. So this is the hierarchy of that. So all the three, cognitive computing, artificial intelligence, or machine learning and the deep learning. So definitely you may ask one doubt, what is the difference between cognitive computing and artificial intelligence? You see the right hand side, I am giving two applications. One is the email filter, another one symbol I given. You may know that there is a Google Assistant. Everybody you may use that. Both we are using daily in our life. So daily we are receiving lot of mails. Everybody we are having the Gmail account, or you may have the Yahoo account, or you may have the Hotmail somewhere. Everybody we are having their own mail account. So daily we are getting lot of mails. We are receiving the lot of mails. So most of the mails are going to inbox, and some of the mails are going to that your spam folder. So in your mail you have the two folders are there. One is the spam folder, another one is your inbox folder. Okay. So most of the mails are inbox. Some of the mails are going to the spam. Who is doing that? We are not doing anything. Somebody sent the mail. Some of the mails are going to the your inbox. Some of the mails are going to our inbox. What is the logic behind is there? What is the technology behind is there? So behind that AI is there. Some filtering concept is there. Using that only the mails are segregated, and most of the mails are going to the inbox, and some of the mails are going to the your spam folder. So this is the one of the example for AI. That means that we are not doing anything. Everything the machine is applying the intelligence, automatically it is segregate basing some parameters, some criteria is there. That is secondary. So another one example is the Google Assistant. Okay, suppose tomorrow now I am in Nagaland, so I am planning to visit the Erode city. Okay, I am planning to visit Erode city. I landed Erode. Okay, I landed Erode. Okay, I want to search some good hotels. I want to stay some good hotels or lodge. So in the Google Assistant, I am asking to suggest some nearby good lodges or suggest nearby some good hotels. So immediately the Google Assistant will suggest some of the name of the hotels, okay, or some of the good hotels based on the some rating or based on the some parameter. It will list some of the hotels. So among the hotels, myself, I am the only person going to take the decision whether I will go to the first option or second option or third option. So the decision is taken care by the human being, not the machine. But whereas your first application, the decision is also taken by the machine, not the human being. Complete the day, your input, analysis, decision, everything is taken care by the machine. That type of application we call as the AI. So all the intelligence we have to apply in that input data. The final decision part, as we have to give our human intelligence. Definitely, human being is 100% better than the machine, because we are having the own human brain is there. We have our own intellectual things there. So we have to apply our sense. We have to take the decision. So when we are coming to the cognitive science or cognitive computing concept, so the decision is taken care by the human being. So the Google Assistant is one of the example for cognitive intelligence or cognitive computing, whereas the robot or the spam filter or mobile pattern recognition. So some of the things are some example for the artificial intelligence. The top of the AI. So both are the top of the machine learning. So if you see the hierarchical, first artificial intelligence, then machine learning, then only the deep learning. All the things are subset. All the things are subset. So another one diagram I given that the data science. So if you want to learn data science, it is not a one part. It is a interdisciplinary. It is a interdisciplinary. So I want to become the expert. So somebody want to become the expert because I am the expert in the medical, or I am in the expert in the particular science, a particular one field. If you want to say, sir, I am the experts in the data science means, so definitely without mathematics, you can't do any data analytics, especially in the mathematics. Statistics is more important. Statistics incidence, probability, and the statistics is plays a major than 70% of the role in that your data analytics, because data science or data analytics is the, you are thinking about the future. We have to think about the predict to the future. So nowadays, why the data science or why the data scientist, data analytics job is more wanted kind of thing means, so we want to predict about the future, because now the world is more competitive world. If I want to withstand in the business, if I want to run on the business means, I have to analyze I have to analyze the customer behaviors, customer taste, market trend. So everything I have to analyze. So then only I can able to withstand in the market. It is not that the people, they cannot able to depend with only one firm. So they are having the n number of options are there. So we have to attract the customers. So if you want to attract the customers means, we have to know more about the customer statistics, customer buying behavior. So then only you can able to withstand in the market. Then only you can able to run the business. You can earn the money. So that only the statistics, the prediction analysis is more important. That means a probability. So probability playing the major role in the data science. Without mathematics, without statistics, you cannot able to do any data analytics job. So that only max, especially statistics. So another one is a computer science. So computer science is nothing but we have to use any one of the algorithm. We have to use some of the algorithm, supervised learning algorithm, machine learning algorithm, deep learning algorithm. We are using that, building the model. So we have to use the some of the algorithm. So definitely some languages oriented is there. Some Python is there. If you want to implement, we have to use some tool. If you want to use some algorithm, we have to learn some of the languages. So that means a computer science. And another one is a domain. Domain business means where we have to apply the business, because I am running the business. I want to implement the data science or model in the agriculture field, or I want to do in the education, or I want to do in the financial sector. So it depends upon where you want to do the analysis, where you want to do the some prediction kind of things. That knowledge also important. That area knowledge important. Mathematics, that means the probability and the statistics more important. Similarly, computer knowledge also important. So if you are strong in all, then only I can say that I am the expert in data science. I know very well about the data analytics. Okay, so this is the, so participant, whenever you feel you have any doubts, please immediately you stop me or you ask me. So immediately I will clarify it, because I am not able to see your chat box. So my screen is completely my presentation only. I am not able to minimizing the screen. So I am not able to see your chat boxes. So in between some presentation, I will stop and I will see your chat. In between, if you want to clarify any doubts means, please stop me. Definitely I will clarify your doubts. So this is that one cycle, we call it as a hype cycle. So some of them you may know this one. So Gartner is one of the US based, one of the research firm. So every year they are releasing some cycle. So the cycle will tell about the not only the emerging technologies, almost all the field. So what are the upcoming technologies are there? So what are the current scenarios there? So what are the technologies are will be there in the market in the next 5 years or next 10 years? They may release one cycle. In the name of the cycle is a hype cycle. So every year they may release one cycle. Okay, the cycle you see in the cycle consists of, below it may be represented is a one chart. So x-axis is the time and y-axis is the expectation. Okay, you see the below there the Pluto will be reached. So that means one white color it is a less than 2 years, and the light blue color it is a 2 to 5 years, and the dark blue 5 to 10 years. So another one rectangle color, one orange color, it is more than 10 years. Okay, something they are mentioning there. So that means, so here the same thing in the cycle, in the graph also they pointed to the same color with some technology name. That means that particular technology will be there in the market next to 2 years, or less than 2 years, or 2 to 5 years, or 5 to 10 years, or more than 10 years. After that, the technology may be stagnant, or that after that, using the technology, some of the hardware or software product may be released. So what are the technologies are there in the market? So what are the technology will be there in the next 2 years or next 5 years? Suppose you are planning to do some research. So you want to know about the what are the emerging technologies are there in AI, what are the emerging technologies are there in the data science, or whatever your domain, you apply, you put that one. So Gartner will releasing the cycle for almost all the area, almost all the domain. So they identified the 30 areas. Okay, this is a cycle. Okay, this is a cycle. The cycle start from that bottom, it going to that towards the up and peak, and after one peak again it is getting down, again it is going to the some plateau level. Okay, so the cycle, the graph, the cycle, they divided into 5 area. You see the left, the x-axis, they mentioned that above the time, innovation trigger, peak of inflated expectations, true of disillusionment, slope of enlightenment, another one is a plateau of productivity. So this, they divided the cycle into the 5 division. Okay. So what is the thing means? So the innovation tree means some of the technology will give the more innovation. It will go towards the peak. So next some years, the technology will give more innovative idea. It should be going towards the peak. And the peak means, so these are the technologies presently it is in the peak. It is in the topmost area, topmost peak level. And the disillusionment means the area is getting down. The two of dissolution means the area, some of the technologies, it is earlier it may be in the peak, now it is getting down. And the slope of enlightenment means again the technology is a chance for getting booming up. So after the purity of productivity means using the technology, the products are released. So it may be in the stagnant. The technology may be stagnant or the technology may be obsolete. Okay. You see the topmost, they given that one white color. So what is it they mentioning that social distancing technologies. So social distancing technologies are nowadays in the peak, and you see the color also white. So what it means that, so nowadays everybody, we know that we are affected with the corona. Okay, we are affected with the COVID, the particular pandemic pandemic disease. So that lot of technologies are coming up to escape from the particular pandemic disease. So that only the social distancing technology is in the top. And you see, they given the color is at white. Why? Definitely the COVID, we definitely will be escaped from the particular disease within the 2 years. We hope that within, nowadays the cases are getting down, day to day the cases are getting down. So very soon we all are escaped from the particular disease, so that only they are identified in the mark as a white color. Okay. And why today the presentation I show this cycle, one important thing is, so here they given the color. Okay, they given the technology with the light blue and the dark blue, some orange color. So every hype cycle, they are pointing, they identified the top 30 technologies. So here you counted the total 10 technologies will be there. So here among the 30 technologies, 10 technologies are belongs to artificial intelligence. Okay, it is not a computer science, it is a emerging technologies. Whether it is a EC or EEE, everywhere it is common. They are identifying the emerging technologies. The emerging technologies, they identified the 30 technology. The 30 technologies, 10 technologies are belongs to the artificial intelligence. So next upcoming years, artificial intelligence will play the emerging major role in almost all kind of applications. Most of the applications, AI will be embedded along with that particular area or particular application. You see here, your embedded AI, explanational AI, responsible AI, generative AI, composite AI, adaptive machine language. So almost more than 10 technologies are there. All are belongs to the artificial intelligence. Okay, so that only I mentioned that this diagram here. So then why data science? Okay, anyway, our topic is machine learning. So before that, I will give some idea about the data science. Okay, so why data science is more important? Actually, we want to, in our hand, I have the huge data set there. In my hand, I have the huge data is there. From the data, I have to identify some patterns. I have to identify some relationships, so correlations between within the particular data. So the data is a huge data. Okay, I will tell one simple example, simple general example. For example, I have the one small tea shop. I am running a one small tea shop in one junction. Okay, one big city or small city. I have the one small hotel or small tea shop. Okay, I started the business. So nearby some other hotels also there. Okay, so 1 month I have the 1 month day transaction. I completed the 1 month business. I completed the 1 month business. So I implemented using the computer. I implemented the bill transaction. So I implemented in a computer. So transaction that sense. So daily how many customers they are coming, what are the items they bought. I entered all the details in the computerized. I make the computerized database. So 1 month my sales over. Okay. So now in my hand, 1 month transaction data are there. So that is my data. That is the data. That data we called as the transaction data. It is a 1 month data. So in the small hotel, I have the tea, some coffee, some snacks, some samosa, some vada, some snacks items are there, some cool drinks also there, some biscuit also there. Okay. So these are the items I am having. So my 1 month business is over. Okay. Now I want to analyze the particular data. I want to analyze the 1 month transaction data. Okay. 1 month I have hardly 10 or 15 items only there. So I analyze the data. What are the customers here they bought, they are giving more interest about the items. So per day among that 100 customers they are visiting. So 330 days means 30 into 100. So 3,000 people. So 3,000 people means some of the people maybe repeat. So totally in my hand I am having the 3,000 transactions are there. In my hand 3,000 transactions are there. Okay. So I am analyzing the data. So in the 3000 transaction, more than 2500 transaction, they are preferring the tea. So only 300 people only they preferred that they bought coffee, and the 200 people they bought some cool drinks, and whoever people they purchased they bought the tea, so they preferred along with some biscuits. Okay, they bought the some example, you bought the biscuit. Okay, so if you want to run the business, if you want to improve the business, means what you will do? Okay, so here this area the people they are giving more importance to the tea. So next month onwards, you will introduce some ginger tea, some masala tea, some green tea. You have, because nowadays the competition is more. If you are not understanding the customer taste, if you are not understanding the customer buying behavior, then you cannot able to run the business. Because okay, here people are buying the tea more. Next month you are keeping, instead of tea, you are giving more coffee, or you are keeping more cool drinks item, means after 2-3 months you have to close your shop. You have to shut down the business. So if you want to improve the business, if you want to earn more business, then we have to identify that what is the customer behavior. Okay, so in the 3000 transaction, 2500 transaction, the people are more interested in the tea, means so next month I have to give more variety of tea. So I have to give the more variety of biscuits. Then only, okay, we have to attract the customers. So if you do like that, the 3000 will be increased to 4000, 4000 will be 6000. Then automatically after 2 years, you open one more branch in the another one more tea shop, another one city, another one town. So after 2-3 years, you will be the somewhat you are the one of the very good businessman. Okay, then you will start instead of one hotel, then big level hotel, then one lodge. So your business will be increased. How? We have to identify the customer behavior. How we have to identify the behavior, means with the help of the machine learning. You see, it is a 3000 people and the items are only 15 items. So in the transaction data, you have only the what are the people they bought together, what are the items people purchased. So if you want to analyze some deep level, what is the relationship between there? What is the people, one people bought tea, what is the next item they are preferring? So what are the items people are preferring more items? So if you want to analyze the data, if you are doing insight from the data, then only you can able to get some useful information. Then you can get some useful knowledge from the data. So your raw data, nothing will be there. Only 300 transaction data will be there. Okay, 3000 people came, 3000 transaction there. So I invested 10,000, I earned 15,000. So 55 lakhs, 5,000 margin. You cannot, some normal people, they will do like that. So I want to make this month 5,000, next month I have to earn 10,000, then 20,000. If you want to improve your business, or if you want to earn more money, so we have to analyze the customer's taste. You have to analyze the customer behavior. Okay, suppose if I am planning to open one tea shop in Nagaland, first I have to identify the Nagaland, what is the people taste. I cannot, in our area, in Tamil Nadu, people will buy the vada samosa. Here the people, they will not take vada samosa more. If I am keeping more in, yeah, I have to give more variety of vada, masala vada, more type of this, means I myself and my family members only we have to eat. The people, they will not buy, because I have to identify understand that what is the customer taste, what is the particular area customer taste. So these type of information, this type of interpretation we got to get once you are analyzing the data. So that type of analyzing, when we will get, means when we are applying the some machine learning or data science approach, because here it is a small data. Suppose we are having a huge quantity of data, I am having the huge quantity of data, then it is very difficult some human level interpreting the data. Then we need some machine analysis, machine level, some data science approach only. And suppose I am running one supermarket. I am running the one supermarket. I have some 5-floor building is there. Okay. Suppose one people is coming, one customer is came. He asked me, sir, where is the bread? So I keep the bread in the first floor. Okay. So next he is asking that, sir, I want to buy the one jam. Okay. Whenever the people they are preferring a bread, means immediately they will buy the jam or butter. So then I ask the customer, sir, please you go to the 5th floor. The customer is in the ground floor. You are keeping the bread in the first floor. You are keeping the jam in the 5th floor or butter in the 5th floor, means what the customer will do? Simply he will put the bread in the particular place. He will go to the next shop. Because nowadays the world is, the market is not only, they not depends from you only. They have some nearby shop. So alternative, so much shops are there. So if the customer went to the another shop, means if they are providing the bread and the jam together, so next day onward, the customer, they may not come to your shop. So that means you are losing one customer. So how to attract the customer? So what are the customer they are interesting? So according, we have to see what is the association between the items. According to, we have to keep the items. Okay, I have to keep the bread, jam, butter, milk, these kind of things, items in the one floor. So then only because the customer time waste, they may not go to the second floor, third floor, and the fifth floor, because they have to complete everything in the one way, one sketch nearby only. So that kind of analysis, that kind of interpretation we can get once you are doing some data science and some machine learning approach only. Okay, so in your physical world, you have the raw data. After you are applying some data science machine learning approach only, then only you can able to get some useful knowledge or the pattern. Here we will use the some of the terms. So data, some knowledge or pattern, some information. So what is the difference between these two terms means? I will tell one simple example. So for example, in this first data, everybody know that what is the meaning of data. Data is nothing but there is no meaning. It is a raw form. For example, temperature equal to 10 degree. Another is a temperature equal to 8 degree. What is the meaning that? So there is no meaning. Value meaning is there. Temperature equal to 10 degrees centigrade, but temperature equal to 8 degrees centigrade. But we cannot get the more useful information from the data. Okay. So when we are adding some meaning, some context to the data, then we can say is the information. You see, 1/12/2019 Delhi temperature 10 degree at 11 o'clock. Similarly, 10/12/2019 Delhi temperature 8 degree at 11 a.m. So now the same data I am giving some context. So that means I am giving some information, some meaning to the data. Then we can say it is a information. So data, nothing. Normally in our database we are having the data only. Okay, in our data only. So I am adding some information to the data. Then we can say it is a information. Then what is the meaning of knowledge? So after I am analyzing the 2 days, one is the first day data, another one is the 10th day data. Okay. So both the days are 10 degree and 8 degrees centigrade. Okay. So after I am seeing the 2 data, okay, I get one conclusion that, okay, in the month of December, Delhi temperature is very low. That means a cold. Here I am applying some rule. So rule means normally the temperature above 25, I can say it is a hot. Less than 25 means I can decide that it is a cold. So according to the some rule based, according to the rule, I am setting that, okay, Delhi in the month of December, Delhi temperature is very cold. Okay. So then I am applying some intelligence. So that means I am applying some sense. So I am planning to visit Delhi in the month of December. So now I am planning next year, or you also maybe plan to visit in the month of December means nobody will tell that, sir, you have to bring the jacket or sweater. So after you are analyzing the data, temperature is 10 degree, 8 degree. So definitely, because we are having the human brain, we are applying our sense, we are applying our common sense. Okay, temperature is very cold, so we cannot able to start with a normal dress. So we have to take the jackets or sweater or canvas along with them when we are planning to visit Delhi in the month of December. So that type of information knowledge, normally we can say that it is a intelligence. So what is the meaning of pattern means? So pattern is nothing but the sequence of relations between the events. So for example, you see the month of December, January only, we can see the some of the shop, the sweater or some jackets, different blankets, we may get it in that the shop season product. The season, that product we can get it in the month of December only. Or you can see in the hot time, the May, or in your place also in the month of hot or April, you can see on the way lot of small fruit juice shop or the coconut water. So that will be available in the month of hot time, because that is a season product. So you cannot see that type of shops in the month of cold time. So that means the season. So that means some pattern, some sale of product, and some pattern is there, some sequence association is there between some events. So that is we called as the pattern. So basically we should know about that. What is the difference between data, information, knowledge, intelligence? So in our hand we have the only data. In my hand I have only the data. The database, we are extracting the data from somewhere source also, or your own data set also. In my hand I have only the data. From the data, what kind of information, what kind of intelligence, what kind of knowledge I am getting. So that is we have to help with the help of the machine learning or data science only. Okay. So this also data, we are talking about the data. So we should know about something about what are the various. This also maybe some of them expert already may explain, but anyway I will give some. I will not take more time. So the data normally we call as this is in terms of the machine learning, or in the terms of the statistical way, or the data mining approach. So we can machine learning approach, we can classify or categorize the data into the categorical data or numerical data. So categorical data in the sense of qualitative data. So quality in the sense we have in terms with the quality basis, we have to measure the data in a quality manner. So then we can say it is a categorical data. So quality means whether my quality, whether I pass or fail. So quality, something we got to measure, some the quality measure. So numerical quantitative data means the answer is how many students are there, how many participants are attending, how many male participants, how many female participants, how many participants from CSC background. So that is some new, the result value will be numerical, then it is a quantitative data, numerical data. Then the categorical data we can classify as a nominal and ordinal. So both are categorical data. So some of the data, the values are having some meaningful order. Okay. For example, the nominal data, I will tell you nominal data, your name, your roll number, your mark, your address, your gender, your qualification, something. So there is no order is there. There is no weightage is there in that particular data. So nominal data means it is a categorical data. The values doesn't having any weightage. The values doesn't having any meaningful order. Then it is a nominal data. Whereas the ordinal data, for example, one student, we can classify the grade, S grade, or A grade, or B grade. The grade is a category. How we arrive, I cannot myself, I cannot give SSR randomly. So the student has to score above 90 in the particular subject. Then only we can put that yes. Or I have to push the pass or fail. So pass means the student has to score all the subject he has to pass, and he has to score above 40 in all the subject. Then only we can assign some pass. So the value is a categorical value, but the values are having some meaningful order. So for example, the one I am assigning the value professor, associate professor, assistant professor. It is a categorical value. The professor means the person having a more experience. They already completed the associate professor with some years, and they guided some PhD candidates. So some criteria is there. Then only we can give as a professor. We cannot randomly give as a professor, associate professor, assistant professor. So the value having some meaning, the value having some order, some sequence is there. So that type of value we call as a ordinal data. Nominal data, there is no relationship. We can give any, my name is one name, your name is one. There is no relationship there. My place is one address, your place is one address. There is no thing is there. For example, color one attribute, red, green, blue, white, we are assigning. There's no meaning. There's no weightage. So whenever the value having some weightage, then we can say is the ordinal data. And the quantitative data, we can say, and the binary data, we can say symmetric and asymmetric. The binary data means the data having only two values. Okay, yes or no, true or false. Okay, so this value having any weightage is there means then we can say it is a symmetric. There is no weightage. If the values are having some weightage is there means then it is asymmetric. For example, whether you affected the COVID-19. So COVID result, the column value positive or negative. But here the positive and negative we cannot treat it as equally. So positive is more danger. It is correct. So combining with the negative. Similarly, whether you pass or fail, only two values, two attributes only, pass or fail. But the values are having some weightage. In the both the values, I cannot treat it equally. So that type of attribute asymmetric. Symmetric means, for example, gender, male or female, only two value is correct. But these two values, there is no weightage. Whether male also same weightage, female also same weightage. We cannot give any weightage to the attributes. So that type of attributes value we can call as a symmetric and asymmetric. And another one is a discrete data, another one is a continuous data. So continuous data, for example, I will ask you, sir, write the number between 2 to 3. I am asking one question. Sir, write the number between the 2 to 3. Whether can you able to write some set of numbers? You cannot able to write. It is an infinitive. Simple question. I ask you to write the numbers between 2 to 3. Then it will start 2.1, 2.11, 2.111, 2.111, 2.01. It will go n number of, it is infinitive. We cannot count the values. Whenever we are not able to count the values, whenever the particular attributes, the values are infinite to range, we cannot able to count. We cannot fix the value within the upper bound and the lower bound. So that type of attributes we call as a continuous data. Your height, your weight. Height also I can measure that 5.66666. I cannot able to fix the value. My weightage, I am having the weightage 60.53333347. It will go on. So that value, but anyway we are rounded the values. So whenever the values, it is not in the within the some upper bound and lower bound, then we can say it is a continuous data. Similarly, your age or mark is 0 to 100 only. Age is 0 to maximum 125 or 130. We can fix that this is the lower bound data, this is the upper bound data. It will not go to behind the particular value. Whenever we are fixing the value, any numerical value within the bound, low bound as well as the upper bound, then it is a discrete data. Whenever you are not able to fix the value between the range, between the lower bound of, we cannot able to, I can fix 2 to 3, but there is a 2 to 3 is a border. But in between, n number of values are there. There's no finite count, infinite count. But the discrete means count is there. We can count the values, number of values are there. But whereas in the continuous data, we cannot able to count the data. So that is a simple difference between discrete and the continuous data. So these are the normal data types. Normally we'll use the machine learning or the statistical or in the data mining. So categorical data or numerical data. Categorical data we can say is a qualitative data. Your numerical data we can say it is a quantitative data. And what are the types of, what is the difference between nominal and ordinal or binary, and what is the difference between discrete and continuous? And one more thing, the continuous data, one more category is there, interval, and another one is a ratio. So what is the meaning of interval? Means we can discrete the data within some bins, some bucket. For example, for age means the value maybe 1 to 100 is there. I want to put the age 1 to 10, it is a children. 10 to 20, I can put it as a youngsters, and 20 to 40, I can put it as a middle age, and 40 to 60, some old age, above 60, senior citizen, above 80, it may be old aged people. So I have to discrete the data, I have to put the numerical value, we will put some bins, some buckets. So that type of data we can call it as the interval data. Ratio data means the data we can measure with zero reference. Your data we are measuring with a zero reference point. Your origin is zero based. Zero based we got, for example, what is my height? I am saying that my height is 6 point means 6 feet. The 6 is counted from 0. We are counting the value from the 0, 1, 0.1. 0 is the reference. 0 to only we are counting. So whenever we are calculating the value with a reference zero origin means, or with a reference zero base means, we can call that value is the ratio based value. Okay, so these are the data types normally we have to use in that machine learning or the data things. Okay, another one thing is that, so what type of analytics normally we'll use when we are using, actually why these kind of things? Okay, our machine learning role is using the machine learning algorithm. We are going to build one model. Okay, that we are building the model, we have to give the input to the data to the machine learning algorithm. So using that machine learning, any one of the algorithm, we are building the model. So the model will predict the future. The model will predict the future. What type of analytics, what type of analysis we are going to do from the data. So accordingly, we have to use the machine learning algorithms. Okay, so for that, what type of various types of data analytics are there? Mostly presently, what type of various analytics normally been used? So what are the various analytics normally we use? Means descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, another one is a prescriptive. Okay, so these also maybe already you may know heard these things. So descriptive in the sense past, descriptive analytics, it is a past, actually what happened. For example, I am running the business. So last 2 years my business down. So I am analyzing that I am running the one small one big shop. Okay, I am running the one big mall in the one near city, one near junction. Okay, so last 1 year sales I am analyzing the data. So I got 5 lakhs loss. So then descriptive analytics, that means I am analyzing the last 1 year complete data. So whenever we are analyzing the past data, so normally that we can say is the descriptive analysis. And another one thing also, somewhere we are using the term analysis, somewhere we are using the term analytics. So what is the difference between analysis and analytics? Means analysis in the sense the past, we are analyzing the past. Analytics in the sense we are thinking the future, we are predicting the future, we are analyzing about the future. So that is a analytics. Analysis in the sense think about the your past ones. So your descriptive analytics normally we call as analysis. You see left hand side I mentioned that it's a past. So what happened? So what happened to your business? My business got 2 years loss. Okay, then I am analyzing the data. I am analyzing my sales, my loss. That is a diagnostic analysis. Why did it happen? Okay, why did it happen? Maybe the last year opposite to your mall, one new mall may be opened. So you every month, for example, you are getting the 500 customers. There are 1,000 customers. They are visiting your shop. So next month, last month, what happened? Opposite to your mall, another one new mall opened. So automatically the customers are divided. Okay, you are getting 200 or 300. So rest of the other customers, they visited that another mall. Okay, so due to that reason, okay, that type of analysis normally we call as the diagnostic. Then the predictive analytics. Okay, this year my business is 2 years loss. If it is going like that, what will happen to the next year? This is I am analyzing year 2020 or 2021. So if the things going on like that, so what will happen to the year 2020, 21 to 2022? That is a predictive. I have to think about the future. According to my past data, according to the descriptive and diagnostic analytics, so I have to think about my predictive what happened in the next year. Okay. Okay. So next, if you are going like that, now 5 lakhs loss, next maybe it is a 7 lakhs or 10 lakhs. Then I got to think of, okay, if I want to improve my business or if I want to withstand in the market, what I have to do. So that is the prescriptive analytics. 1 minute. 1 minute. Hello. In a class where can I propose? So prescriptive analytics thing in the sense, okay, I want to improve the business. What type of courses of action I have to take? So okay, I have to think, can we give the home delivery, or can we introduce some offer, or the people those who are buying about 2,000, we have to give some more offer, or 5,000 more offer. So we have to think about that, some of the actions. So what are the courses of action we have to take? Then we have to attract to the customers. So our intention is we have to attract to the customers. How to attract to the customers? If you are attracting the customers only, then only you can be able to withstand in the market. So because now it is a competitive world, it is not a, you are not the only one sole person. So they are depending with other people. So we have to think about the prescriptive analytic in the sense. So what type of decision we have to take? So that type of analysis called as a prescriptive. And one more important thing. So if you want to take any one of the analytics, so definitely you have to do all the things. Further only you give so your inner circle is prescriptive. You have to analyze the past. Then you have to think about the diagnostics analysis. Then only you have to do the predictive. Then only you can be able to do the prescriptive. If I want to do something prescriptive analysis, so directly I cannot do the prescriptive analysis, because before that I have to analyze the market. Before that I have to analyze that all the analytics. Then only I can be able to do the next type of analytics. Okay, so these are the some of the things we have to see with that data analytics. What is the data? So what are the various types of data we are using? What are the various types of data analytics are there? How the data analytics will support that for your running your business, how it will help to improve your business. So that part, it is a one part over. Okay. Second thing is, so now we will come to our topics, that is a machine learning. Okay. So if I am going fast, are you able to understanding the concept? 1 minute, I will.
Yes, sir. It's going good.
Participants, you have any doubts till my presentation? Whether I cannot, I am continuously 1.5 hours speaking, you cannot able to understand anything, then totally it is a waste. So whether I am going fast or slow, or is it okay for you? Just you tell me one thing. I am in the chat. Now I am opening the chat box only. If you have any, so far in my presentation, if you have any doubt also, you ask. The way, my way of presentation is, are you able to understand the logic, the points, concept? That is more important. Okay, thank you. Everybody is saying okay only. Good, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay. So I'm continuing. So machine learning. So learning in the sense, it is a continuous process. Everybody we know that learning. Normally, where we use the term learning in our general, I am giving one general example. Suppose I want to, whenever you are getting the driving license, okay, normally the driving license time, we have to put first the learning license. We cannot directly, we should not directly get the license. First we have to put the learning license. What is the meaning of learning license? That means it is a more sensitive one. Driving is a more sensitive kind of job. So for that only they are giving first as a learning. 1 minute. Thanks. So initially what, first of all, you see, I don't know anything about the driving. Okay, I don't know anything about the four-wheeler. I don't know anything about the driving means. So I joined one of the driving school. What happened? The first day, your instructor, whoever going to teach for the driving, he will sit in the next. Anyway, you are only going to sit in the driver's seat. But everything is their hand only. As a driver, you are sitting because the steering control, brake, clutch, everything their control only. The first day he will take care. The car is not in our control. The car is going here and there, left and right. Okay. So after 1 week, initially 2-3 days late only. After 1 week, you can able to know little bit. So after 1 month, after 2 months, so after 2-3 months later, you will be the expert. Is correct. Initially, I don't know anything. I am learning, 1 day learning, 1 week learning, 1 month learning, 2 months learning. So after 2-3 months later only, I am the expert in the driver. You are expert in the particular driving, then we can say I am the expert driver. So learning. So here learning is a continuous process. How we are learning? By experience. A human being, we are learning by experience. Is correct. Without, because I can say, sir, I know very well in the machine learning. It is not a 1 day class. It is not a one-day lecture. I cannot say that I am the expert in the data science or I am expert in the machine learning. So definitely I handle the particular subject minimum 3-4 semester. Suppose some of the faculty may be expert in the data science or the data structure or computer architecture or the computer networks. They cannot say that within the one semester, if they handle the subject, I know everything. It is not like that. So minimum you have to handle 2-3 years or minimum you have to handle 4-5 semesters. Then only you can able to say that I am expert in the particular subject, particular domain. Similar that means our human being, we are getting expertise from experience. But what about machine? Because we are having the experience, we are learning, but through experience means we are having the brain. Using the brain, we are understanding the things, we are learning the things. But what about machine? Machine doesn't have the brain. Machine doesn't have the intelligence. So machine can learn with the help of the data. Whereas a human being, we are learning with the help of the experience, whereas the machine can learn with the help of the data. Further on in the diagram, you can see that human, I can learn everything automatically from experience. Can you learn? The machine, yes, I can also learn, but I can learn with the help of the past data, not the experience. So that means we can give the some past 5 years data as an input to the machine. According to the data, the machine will behave. According to the data, the machine will predict the future. So that concept of the machine learning. So the machine learning is simply, we can say that it's a process of converting expert into expertise or converting expert into the knowledge. So that only already I given the expert some example about the what is the knowledge, what is the information, what is the data. So human, we can also have the some learning ability. I will tell another one example. Suppose you are standing, okay, you are standing. You are seeing somewhere place. You are seeing somewhere place. In your back, your friend is calling by your name. You are standing. You are seeing somewhere else. Backside, in your friend, he is calling by your name. Can you able to diagnose who is calling without turning your head, without seeing that who is standing behind you? You can able to identify so that this is my friend X, this is my friend Kumar, or this is my friend X or Y. How it is possible? He is calling by your name. We don't have any memory. We don't have any memory storage. But without turning your head, without seeing who is standing or who is calling, you can able to identify that this is my friend or this is my father, this is my mother. So that means that voice already you are calling so many times. We are hearing the particular voice hearing so many times. So that voice is recorded in your brain. So some limited memory power we are also having. So that is a concept of using the neural network. The idea of neural network is coming into the picture with this idea only. So we are having some memory. Suppose if I am calling, you are the first time you are hearing the voice. So definitely you may turn your head, who is that fellow? Is correct. If you already heard the voice means you may not turn your head without seeing without turning the head or without seeing who is standing behind. So you can able to identify that. So this is my friend or this is my father or this is my father. So that is a human also. We are having the learning process. That is a concept of voice recognition system. So I tell you some of the simple example for learning problem. For example, I told you spam mail filtering. Similarly, credit card fraud, credit card transaction detection, or a particular COVID-19, whether you are having the positive or negative. So lot of applications are there. Compared with the learning problems. Okay, the term machine learning, it's a general example. I will not give some standard definition, because we are not coming here for learning, understanding the definition. We should understand the concept. So the term machine learning means to enable machine to learn from past experience without programming. No need to program anything. So once we learn, our intention is, our work is to make the machine to learn. How the machine can learn? With the help of the past data. Once we feed the past complete data, okay, the machine learn. After that, whenever the machine is seeing the data, the same data, then machine can able to say that, okay, earlier I have seen this data, this is the result. Okay, now also I am seeing the data, this data, so this is the result of the particular unknown resulted data. So that type of work we can get it from that machine learning. Okay, so last I have put one word, that IBM Deep Blue. So some of them you may know the concept. So IBM is one of the companies. So this is one of the IT leading companies. So Deep Blue is nothing but it is one of the chess game. It is one of the chess game. It's developed by IBM. Not only now, in the year 1996. In the 1996, IBM developed one online chess game. The name of the game is Deep Blue. So that game, that chess game, it beaten the Gary Kasparov. So Gary Kasparov is nothing but he is the world chess champion in that period. In the 1996, he is a chess champion. He is the chess champion. So the game is a machine game. It is an online game. It is a machine. program. It is nothing but we wrote one program. The output of the program is the game. So that program, it is a mission based. So that program beaten the one human being. That is not an ordinary human being. It's a world chess champion. So that is the meaning of the machine learning. How the AI is more powerful, or how the machine learning concept is more powerful. Okay. So why machine learning is coming into the picture? Okay. So this is the one simple diagram. It is an interesting level only. Okay. You see, nowadays everybody, we know that we have completely surrendered or affected the COVID-19. So whenever we are saying that I have the corona means what are the symptoms they are having, whether you are having the fever or whether you are having any cough issue, any respiration issue. Okay. So other than without the symptom also, nowadays the disease is affected. That is another case. Okay. So generally we can say that, sir, I am having that fever, I am having the respiration issue. Or nowadays they are saying that if I don't have any smell or taste also, we are saying that there's a chance, there's a symptoms for COVID. Okay. So here I used the two factor. One is the respiration, that means cough issue. Another one is a fever. Okay. So for that I am using IoT based. So because nowadays most of the laboratory, most of the hospitals, they are using the robot for the preliminary checkup level, because doctors and the nurses also, they are also human being. They have to save their life also. So for that, most of the foreign countries, the preliminary checkup level, they are the some the mingle with the COVID-19 patients. They are using the lot of robots. Okay. So here I am using the two sensor. One is the temperature sensor, another one is the respiration sensor. Okay. So the temperature sensor is just an example. It is not a real scenario. Just for understanding purpose only, I am using that this diagram. Okay. So the temperature sensor, I am getting the temperature value. The respiration sensor, I am getting the respiration value. Okay. So I plotted both the values in the graph, in the x and y axis. So x means fever, y axis is the respiration. Okay. So here low and high, the fever we are having the low and high. Similarly, respiration also I am having the value low and high. So what is the criteria? What is the factor means? So whenever a patient or whenever a person having the high fever and high respiration issue, then the particular person having the COVID-19 positive. Okay, I decided that we are deciding that he is having the particular disease, so positive. So whenever a person having the less fever as well as the less respiration issue, that means both are low. So both the low values are low, then we can say that he doesn't having that particular disease, then I marked as a negative. So according to the values, so the green colors are, I put it as the COVID-19 positive patients, the people, those who are affected with the particular disease, and the red color, I mark the another one circle red, that they are having the negative. There is no particular disease. Okay. So now I mark the value according to the rate, according to the value high, low, I divided all the data, all the people into two. Now you see one guy, the one guy value, it is B. Here I marked the value B. You see the value of the particular guy. So the value of the particular guy is also coming between the low, the fever value. The range is the value is coming between low and high. Similarly, the respiration value also, you see the value is also coming between that low and high. So the both the respiration, that cough, the wheezing, that problem also, it is in the middle. Similarly, fever also, it is in the middle. So what to do? Whether I have to consider the particular person as a positive or negative. Correct. So high and low means straight away I have to decide that positive or negative. So one value is coming between the two ranges. So exactly border about the particular. So it is a more sensitive things. I have to take the more proper decision. Okay. So here I am applying some machine learning algorithm. So you may heard that one of the machine learning algorithm, K nearest neighbor, KNN. So KNN is the one of the supervised machine learning algorithm. So I am using that algorithm. So what I have to do is, from the particular point, I have to calculate the distance. I am identifying that K nearest neighbor. Who are the 5 nearest people? Who are the 5 nearest people? So either I have to, you may heard the some of the distance calculation. So Euclidean distance or Manhattan distance. So these are the some of the distance measurement. So you have to identify the particular one data point to the rest of the other data points. Okay. So here I am using the Manhattan distance, because Manhattan distance is mostly used for the source to all the destinations. Particular one point destination, if you want to use means, then you have to use the Euclidean distance. So if you want to measure with all others neighbors, so much destination if you want to measure means, then we have to better go with the Manhattan distance. So these are some of the distance calculation mechanisms are there. So using that, I am identifying that who are the nearest to 5. So normally the value of K will be 5, odd number only. Okay, either 3 or 5 or 7 or 9. So here I am considering the value of k equal to 5. So from the point I am calculating the who are the first 5 nearest people. So I identified the 5 nearest people using the distance calculation method. Then I mark the circle. So now I mark the circle. So now in the circle you see 5 people. So I identified the 5 people. Then I go for the majority voting. So what is the majority voting? In that circle, 4 people belongs to positive and the 1 people belongs to the negative. So according to that, I have to consider this guy is also considered as a COVID positive. It's a simple example. It is not a real cases. Simple understanding level. What is the role of machine learning is, why the machine learning is coming into the picture. Okay. So now using the KNN algorithm, machine learning algorithm, I identified that particular B values belongs to the positive case. So this is that how the why the machine learning is coming into the picture. Okay. Then, so whenever you want to learn the machine learning or the data analytics part, first we should know some basic about that. So normally all the database, most of the database are structured databases. Okay. The structured database means normally you represent the rows and columns. Okay. Rows is nothing but each row represents the one entity or one object. For example, this is the COVID-19 data set. Okay. COVID-19 data set. If I take the one row P1, it is nothing but the one person full data. One person full detail is normally we call as the one record or one object, one entity, one person data. We call it as a one record. Okay. So that is a row wise. Each row represents the particular one object, particular one entity. So here one person is an object. Whatever entity you are taking, so one record or one row is we have to treat it as a one object. That is a row wise. And the column wise, we can call it is an attributes. These are the column. Here, how many columns are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns are there. So 7 attributes are there. Totally 7 attributes are there. What is the meaning of attribute means? So attribute is nothing but that describe the property. It is a property of an entity. For example, I am a person. Okay, my person. If I want to identify my entity, my identity means I got to use my roll number, my register number, my name, my address. So these are the properties that identified that myself. Similarly, you are also having your register number or your roll number, your phone number, your name, your father name, your mother name. So these are the properties that identified yourself. So that identification properties normally we call as attributes. In database term, we call this attributes, whereas in the machine learning terms, we call it as a features, whereas the statistical term, we call it as a variables. Terms are same. What it represents, it meaning same. So the naming depends upon the domain. We are using the different names. In database term, we have to call it as attributes, whereas the machine learning term, we have to call it as a features, whereas the statistical term, we call it as a variables. Okay. So, and that is a columns. Columns, we can call it like that. So here x to xn columns are there. And the last column, this is also attribute. This is also attribute only. So normally that column we called in the machine learning concept, we called it as a class label. So that is a predicted output, or that is a targeted output, or that is a response variable. And that variable normally we called as the dependent variable. So what is a dependent? So this variable is depends with the help of other variable. So the result, we can say that my result, I am having the COVID-19 positive. The value is, I cannot say put the value directly. I cannot put the Y. I cannot put yes or no. The value, we cannot randomly assign. We cannot ourselves assign the value. That value is depend on other attributes. That variable only we called as the dependent variable. This variable is dependent by some other. Your salary is depends on your qualification, your experience. Based on that only your salary is there. So your salary is the dependent variable, your experience, your qualification, that kind of things are we called as a independent variable. That means, so then the machine learning terms or statistical term, generally we use the term independent variables. Another one is a dependent variable. Dependent variable, it is a depends. The variable, the particular COVID-19, you see the positive value is, result is positive. The value depends upon whether you are having fever, whether you are having cough, whether you are having the headache, whether you are having the respiration. With the help of these attributes only, we can able to identify that, we can able to judge that, justify, give the value that what is the value of the particular variable. So that is the meaning of dependent variables and the independent variables. So this chart or this table will give the some idea about what are the terminology normally we'll use related to that attributes. What is attribute, what is features, what is variables, then what is the independent variable. So independent variables, all other attributes, but finally predicted output only we can call it as a class label or output or a target variable or response variable or a dependent variable. That is a last column. Okay. So I hope you understand the concept of what is row, what is and the columns. Okay. So now in the machine learning point of view, in the same table, we are considering the machine learning point of view. What is the things? Okay, you see the value. Here the values are, all the values are there. You see in the last column value, I highlighted as a red. I don't know what is the value. I don't know what is the value. So using the all other existing data, here you see total 10 records are there. Using the 9 record values, 9 independent variable also value is there and the dependent variable also value is there. You see all the variable, all the rows, records where I am having the values are there. So using with the help of this value, we can identify that whether positive or negative. But you see the last column, last one column, new patient, one new person is coming. So we have to identify that what is the result of the particular column, what is the result of the particular person data, whether I can put it as a positive or negative. So here only we are using the machine learning. You see unseen data. What is unseen data? The last record is unseen data. What is the pattern? Whether what is the result, whether it is a positive or negative. So that I got to predict the Y is the predicted output. So that means that we have to achieve with the help of F equal to F of X. So F is your machine learning function. What any one of the you are using the algorithm, and all the X is nothing but all the PID, AG, fever, cough, headache, and the respiration. So these are the things are X. So X is the input. After I am giving the input, your Y is the machine learning algorithm, the function. That function will predict what is the value, what is the result, whether it is a positive or negative. So that is it is predicted with the help of the past data. It is not possible to see the one data, it will not predict. So first we got to build the model Y, we got to build the model F. So F is we build it with the help of the all other existing data. Then we have to give one unseen data. So the data will say that, the model will say that what is the result of the particular F. F is nothing but machine learning model. So that will say that what is the value of F. So for that only, how do we prepare X? We have to give the input data properly. Then only we have to build the model. So how to prepare X? How to choose the F? Which one is F? How to evaluate the F? How to find which one algorithm is here? The F is nothing but it is any one of the machine learning algorithm. I hope you got some idea about the machine learning, how it is coming into the picture. Okay. So these are the various types of general machine learning algorithms. Are so many other algorithms also there. So these are some of the general machine learning algorithms are there. Normally supervised learning, unsupervised learning, semi-supervised learning. Another one is a reinforcement learning. Okay, so these are the general machine learning algorithm. First, supervised learning means, what is a supervisor? Supervisor means, suppose when we are using the PhD, when we are doing the PhD, so one person as a supervisor is correct. Your guide normally we call as supervisor. So supervisor only guiding you, supervisor only assisting you how to proceed, how to learning. Okay, without supervisor you cannot able to learn. So he is only guiding you, he is only assisting you how to learn. So similarly in supervised learning also, here in our machine learning, the supervisor is nothing but the past data. Your historical data is a supervisor. After you are analyzing the historical data only, you can able to learn. You are learning where you are learning with the help of the past data. You are learning with the help of the historical data. Here your past data or historical data is a supervisor. Somebody assisting you to learn. Here the somebody is nothing but it is a past data. It is a historical data. Okay. So that problem normally we call as a continuous. We are predicting the continuous variable. Another that we call as a regression problem. When we are predicting the categorical problem, that is a classification problem. The next slide I will tell you what is the meaning of regression, what is the meaning of classification problem. Okay, so unsupervised learning means there is no need for no supervisor. No supervisor means past data is not required. Without the past data, without the historical data, I can able to learn. So that type of learning, unsupervised learning. For example, I will tell you some clustering. For example, in the group, for example, in the program, 100 participants are attending. Okay, so I want to categorize how many of them from CSE, how many are from EEE, or how many of them are ECE. I want to group I want to create a group according to your discipline. So for that, I don't want the past data. I read your data, I see your discipline. If your discipline is computer science, I put it in the CSE bucket, CSE cluster. I am seeing your discipline, your branch is EEE. I put it in the EEE branch. I see your branch, it is civil, I put it in the civil. For that, no need for the past data. So I want to categorize how many gender male, how many female. So for that I don't want the past data. So these type of problem are clustering, similarly association between the two items. So that this type of analysis, there's no requirement for the your past historical data. That type of problem unsupervised learning. Semi-supervised learning means in your data set, some of the data having the class label is there. Here the supervisor past data, in the past data with the result also there. Okay. So for example, a particular patient and getting all the data along with that whether he is having the positive or negative. The positive or negative is the class label. Okay. So that is that class labeled data. That is a historical, that type of data only we are using the supervised learning. So in the semi-supervised learning, some of the data having the class label, some of the data there is no class label. It is a mixed. We cannot say that all the data types are there with the class label. So there is a chances for some of the data type having the both the type. So that type of learning normally we call as a semi-supervised learning. So reinforcement learning is the another interesting. So it is there is no need for that past thing. It see the present situation, present scenario. Accordingly, it will take the reaction. So that also I will tell you the next slide. First, you see the what is the difference between the regression and the classification problem. So both are coming under the supervised learning problem because it is we are using the supervised data. So what is the meaning of regression problem is whenever I want to predict the continuous value. For example, I want to predict the what is the tomorrow temperature. So
Excuse me.
Hello.
Hello, sir. I have a small doubt.
Okay.
Sir, in that first slides, you have explained about that hype cycle in which one was self-supervised learning. Sir, can you please tell me what is self-supervised learning?
Where, ma'am? The hype cycle.
Yes, sir. There in that.
Actually, in the hype cycle, I don't know as the intention of the self cycle. That hype cycle is what are the technologies are there belongs to that particular that algorithm. But the self, you want to know about the self supervised learning.
Yes, sir.
Max supervisor. That okay, ma'am. I will let you know, ma'am. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, ma'am. I will get to know about that. Okay. So here. So actually the hype cycle intention is, I showed the hype cycle intention is what are the technologies are there. Most of the technologies are behind that related to the artificial intelligence. Okay, anyway, because I don't know all the technologies names and their concept is this. Okay, anyway, I will clarify your doubt, man. Self-supervised learning. Okay, so here the prediction and that means a regression and a classification algorithm. So what is the meaning of these two means? So when suppose I want to predict the tomorrow stock market or tomorrow temperature. So that value, it is not a one value. Tomorrow temperature I want to predict means tomorrow 6 o'clock, 6:1, 6:2, up 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. The values are continuous values. It is not a one value. I cannot be able to predict the one value. If I want to predict suppose I want to predict the tomorrow exactly morning 9 o'clock temperature, then it is a classification problem. If I want to predict the continuous data, continuous value means then that type of problem normally called as a regression problem. Suppose I want to predict about that what is my next year salary. I want to suppose I have the 5 years experience. What is my next year salary, or what is my after 2020 how much is salary I will get, after 25 how much is salary is get. So that type of prediction is a continuous prediction. So whenever you are predicting your problem, your prediction problem, both are prediction problem. So whenever we are predicting towards the continuous data, then we can call it a regression problem. So whenever you are predicting the discrete data, for example, whether I have the COVID-19 positive or negative, whether I have my bank loan application, whether it is sanctioned or rejected, whether particular one mail is a credit spam mail or whether it is a genuine mail, whether the particular transaction is a genuine transaction or the fraud transaction. So your predicted output is a discrete, whether yes or no, or whether the labels, the class labels are we can discrete either 1 or 2 or 3. So that type of problem normally we call as the classification problem. That means classification normally it will predict the discrete data. So whereas your regression problem, it will predict the continuous value data. Okay. So this is the another one interesting learning. So most of the nowadays we are using our gaming this type of thing is we have to use the reinforcement learning concept only. Okay. So what is the logic of reinforcement learning? For example, everybody we know the chess game. Everybody we know the playing the chess game. So the chess game, some of the coins are there. So it is a two-player game. So and in the game, we are both the party having some coin. So initially the board is we are make the position the coin according to the place. So initially I move one coin. I place the one coin, and opposite he also plays another one coin. So it is my movement is always not fixed. According to the board, according to the how the opponent is playing, based on that only my every movement will be there. It's correct. We cannot randomly fix that. My position is always like that. My game is my move is like that. We cannot predict that value. We cannot predict the movements. We cannot fix the movement. So always it is based on the environment. You see the environment. According to the environment, we have to take one decision. So next, after how your opponent is playing. So every movement we are based on that. After the successful movement, after the successful change of the environment only. You see simple one. Here I given one simple example, one game on age. Here the agent is nothing but that is a machine. That is a system. You see the environment. So in the environment is represented by lot of states. Okay, it's the initial state. No, nothing is movement. After you are placed the one coin, the change environment will change it. That means the state is changed S1 to S2. Okay. So according to the every movement, the state will be changed. So you see the one environment, you take one action. That means you are placing the coin. So after you are placed the coin, that after your movement, sometimes you may beat the opponent coin, or your coin may be beaten by the opponent. That means you are getting the reward. So sometimes your reward you may get immediately, after you may get the reward after successful move also. After successful some of the moves, either you may beat the opponent coin, or your coin may be also sometimes it may be beaten by the opponent. So that means the reward may be sometimes it will the immediate reward, or it may be accumulated reward. So that is a concept of reward, state, and action. So these are the concept. So these are the parameter associated with that your reinforcement learning. For example, self-driving car. The self-driving car, what is the meaning of it? Is embedded with a lot of sensor. Everybody nowadays, after 5 or 10 years, most of the cars are self-driving cars only. Okay. So the car is embedded with a lot of sensor, and the sensor will read the signal. If the signal is the traffic signal is red, see the environment, it will we have to apply the brake. Suppose somebody is crossing the pedestrian, so we got to apply the brake. So there is a complete green signal. In front of that, there is no vehicle is there. So we got to increase the speed. So that means according to the environment, your car will behave. You will take the some of the action. So these type of learning scenario, normally we got to use in the reinforcement learning. So mostly we are using 3 types of learning predominantly. One is a supervised learning. Supervisor learning means we have to learn with the help of the past historical data with the class label. So unsupervised learning means there is no past historical data. So whatever we are seeing the data, accordingly we got to take. Reinforcement learning means it is not a predicted, it is a dynamic learning. So every time we have to learn that based on your environment. According to the environment, your prediction, your analysis, your action will be changed. So that type of learning normally we call as the reinforcement learning. So another one learning is also there. This is a ensemble learning. So normally whenever we are implementing that model, so it is also one kind of supervised learning algorithm only. The supervised learning algorithm, we are using some of the algorithms are there. So I don't want to use the particular one algorithm is good for some other problem. Okay. I don't want to use the particular one algorithm. So I want to use some hybrid level. So I want to use the more number of model towards to actually solve the particular complex problem. So that means we are ensembling. We are combining, we are more number of classifier. We are combining more number of models. So that type of problem normally we call as the ensemble learning. Here I mentioned some of the algorithm, random forest, data boost, isolation forest. So these type of models inbuilt we are having a more classifier. Algorithm is one, but the algorithm internally it will create the more model. It will create the more classifier. So that means it will give the more accuracy. It will give the more accuracy because so whenever we are using that particular one algorithm to solve the solution, or you are using more number of algorithms to solve the solutions, that will be always best. But some complexity issue will be there. Okay. So that type of learning normally we call as the ensemble learning. So this chart will give the some overview, general overview about all the machine learning algorithms. Okay. So you are in the start position. You have the one data set is there. I have one data set is there. So from the data set, okay. So I want to start my machine learning. I want to do machine learning problem. Okay. So here, first we got to see whether what type of data set whether you have, whether you want to do any pre-processing. So definitely all the next to my concept is the pre-processing only. So whether you have to do the any dimension reduction, because in your attributes, you are taking the one data set. Normally the data set will be having the more attributes are there. Okay. So for example, in your college, I want to do the one analysis about the CSE branch students result analysis. Okay. Our institute, they given one task to analyze the last semester. Maybe last month Anna University revealed the result. Okay. So your management ask you to do the analysis about your branch, your department result. So they are giving the data set to you. So particular data set, it consists of CSE, IT, ECE, mechanical, civil, all the students' data is there. And all the semester data is also there. So I want to do only the CSE branch third year result analysis. So I don't want to the other data. I want to only the particular third year CSE students' data only. So why should I use all the other unnecessary data? So that means I have to reduce the data set. I got to reduce the dimension of the data. So that is the dimension reduction. In the dimension reduction, first we got to do that, because otherwise why should I use that whole huge data set? So we have to use whether you want to do any dimension reduction. Yes, then we go for the some dimension reduction techniques, PCA, SVD, LDA. So these are the some of the dimension reduction techniques are there. So using the any one of the algorithm, you can use reduce the data set. Don't want to the all other data set. Okay. Then another is a second, okay, if you don't want to do the dimension reduction, go to the next level. No, have a response. Have a response means whether your data set having the class label, last class label is there. That means that past data with the class label is there, means whenever you have the data set with the class label, then we can call it is a supervised learning algorithm. Yes, then proceed. If it is a no, there is a no class label. That means there is no class label. There is no last predicted output data. Then you have to go with a no here. That means unsupervised learning. The unsupervised learning, that means a clustering type of problem. So here what type of algorithm I got to choose? Suppose I have my class label, then what is your prediction? Whether your prediction is a regression problem or whether your prediction is the classification problem. In the regression problem, what type of algorithms are there? What is your requirement? Accordingly, you got to choose the algorithm. Otherwise, you have the supervised classification algorithm. So what type of requirement you have? Accordingly, you got to choose any one of the supervised learning algorithm. So this will give some overview about what are the various types of machine learning algorithms are there. So according to your requirement, because it is not a one algorithm, we are having the n number of algorithms are there. Some algorithm will give the better result for the particular one problem. The same algorithm may not give that good result or good accuracy in that another one type of algorithm, another one type of the problem. So it depends upon the problem to problem, the algorithm very much changes. So before that, we should know that what are the various type of algorithms are there, what are the various types of machine learning concepts are there. So according to whether my problem is a clustering unsupervised problem, or my problem is a regression problem, or my problem is a regression problem or classification problem, accordingly you got to choose any one of the algorithm. So this is the some of the application about the machine learning. What are so normally supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and the reinforcement learning. So what are the applications are there? So you may go through, you can able to understand the things. Okay. So next one is now we have to discuss about what is the machine learning. What are the various machine learning algorithms are there? So next our intention is using that machine learning algorithm. I have the data. I am having the one data set is there. Okay. For example, my problem is I want to predict that whether particular patient is having the cancer prediction problem or heart attack prediction problem. That is my research. So I downloaded the one data set. I downloaded the one data set in one of the site. So I am using any one of the classification algorithm. Okay. So before that, you are directly giving the data to the algorithm. You have to do one important step is the data pre-processing. Okay. So why we have to do the data pre-processing means whenever you are taking the data set, the real world data, or you are download the data, or you are directly some IoT sensor data you are using. Okay. Suppose you are doing the weather temperature prediction problem. For that, you are directly using the some of the sensor. From the sensor, you are gathered the data. Okay. So the real world, most of the real world general data is not accurate. It is not a quality based. So definitely the data having some issues are there. Normally the issue we can categorize as the incomplete, noisy, or inconsistent. The data might not be incomplete. That means some of the value may be missing. Whenever I am reading the data, for example, I have to collect the data. I want to ask you how many participants. Okay, what is your salary? I am asking you. I am giving the one column. I give one data. For example, you are 100 people you are attending. Okay, in the 100 people you are participating, I give one Excel sheet. I ask to fill the column. One is your name, your qualification, your age, your salary, your phone number. These are the details asking you. Some of the people, they may not interest to give the phone number, and some of the people, they may not reveal their salary, and some of the people, they may not interest to show their age. It's correct. It is nature. So that means the value is missing. If I gathered the whole data, I want to do one analysis about that. So how many students they are attending in that particular age range, or the mobile number, using the mobile number, I want to know that how many people they are using BSNL or Airtel. Some type of analysis I want to do. So for that, I need the whole data. If some of the data are missing, or I want to know about what is the range of salary for that in the Euro range, because most of the people you are maybe Tamil Nadu or Euro. Okay, in that range, what is the range of salary your institution is giving? So if you are enter all the values, then only I can able to get some conclusion. If you are most of the values are missing, then how do I do the analysis? So the data is incomplete. So generally, real data, so most of the times due to some mechanical, because we are gathering the data from the IoT devices, the sensor may be having some issue, or the environmental having some issues are there. Due to some factor, we cannot able to get the data properly. The data may be incomplete. And noise in the sense some error, or we can say it is an outlier. Sometimes for example, I might enter the data 100, the mark is 100, your age is normally 150, so we got to define the 3-digit number. Sometimes maybe instead of 45 you put one more 5, or you put one more 0, then it is a 450, but it is not a correct data. So that means the data having some error, that is some noisy error in the sense, noise in the sense, variation in the data set. So that is also there's a chances are there. And another is a inconsistent. So inconsistent doesn't, for example, I want to, the same example I am telling you, I am asking to fill your Excel sheet. So I am asking you the branch. So some of the people they may enter computer science. Some of the people they will enter CS. Some of the people they will enter CSE. Okay. So but all are belongs to same. But if the data is not a consistent. Column to column, the value, some row to row, the values are changing. That means your data are not in a consistent manner. So these are the situation normally comes whenever you are gathered the data. Whenever you are doing the analyzing the real-time data, your data is not in a proper form. The data is not a quality one. So what are the factors to define the quality about the data means incomplete, noisy, and inconsistent. So I cannot directly give the data to the machine learning algorithm. Okay, we are using the data. You see the below diagram I given that gathered the data, giving to the machine learning algorithm. The model will using that algorithm. We are building the model. The model will use for the some prediction analysis. So this is the general steps. So instead, we cannot directly give the data to the machine learning algorithm. So using that, you have to do the pre-processing the data. So pre-processing is one of the important steps, or it is one of the important stage we have to do in the machine learning analysis. Okay. So that is the only we have to think that why pre-processing required, because your real-time data having some incomplete, noisy, or inconsistent will be there. Okay. So the data pre-processing. So what are the steps we have to normally we will do means, so data cleaning. So I am gathered the data from the various sources. Okay. So the data, maybe I told you the data having the some incompleteness is there, some noise is there, or some inconsistency is there, some outlier is there. So we have to analyze all the data. We have to analyze all the part. We have to analyze all the part. That means we have to make the data into the cleaning. We have to clean the data. Actually, data pre-processing itself is a huge topic. Okay, we can speak more than 2 hours for the data pre-processing also. So that is a data cleaning. And the data transformation, we have to consolidate the data into the standard format, because I gathered the data from the different sources. For example, I gathered the data, I want to do the analysis about the particular one, my business, my sales. So one branch they are using Oracle, one branch they may using the SQL, one branch they may using the MySQL, and and it may be in the, for example, all the other countries. I have the MNC basis. India they are using IN rupees. Foreign, they are one country may be using the dollar. One country maybe they using the drums there, and one country they be different formats. That means the format of the data are different. While you are consolidating the data, we have to make it is the same format. That means we have to normalize the data. So that is the meaning of the data transformation. We have to consolidate the data into the same single format, because after you are consolidated, we are doing some analysis. If unknown data is unknown format means we cannot, because $5 and 5 rupees, I cannot treat it always the values of 5. $5 is different and 5 rupees is different. So I cannot treat the value 5 is the same. So we have to normalize the data. We have to standardize the data into the same format. So these type of lot of mechanisms are there. So these type of things we will do in the data transformation. So another one is the data reduction. So data reduction already I told you. So that means that we have to reduce. Earlier in the slide I told you we have to reduce the, either your reduction may be the dimensional reduction or numerosity reduction. Dimensionality reduction means I got to reduce the attributes. Already told you I don't want to for example, I want to calculate only the fees calculation, only my task. So I don't want to do your marks, your parents, your hostel detail, nothing is it is not required for my task. So I am reducing the dimension. Dimension the net, it is attributes. So another one is a numerosity reduction, means I don't want to the particular row wise. Row wise means I want only the CAC branch data. I don't want to the civil or mechanical data. So that type of reduction normally we call as the numerosity reduction. So these are the stages. So these are the steps normally we will do in the data pre-processing. Okay. So here one point I want to discuss with you. The data cleaning, already told you we have to handle the missing value. How to handle the missing value? Suppose some of the values are missing. So the value, for example, your salary is missing. One way, normal way, I can remove the record. I don't want to consider the record. Okay. Another thing, I have to take the average about all the salary. I have to fix that value, fill the value based on the average value also. Okay. Using some of the method, I have to handle the missing value. So one of the important thing is the data cleaning, that is outlier. So outlier analysis is also one of the important research area, because nowadays we are gathered the data from the various sources. The data is not in that proper form. We cannot fix the data if the data is correct. The data may be having the some outlier is there. Outlier in the sense the data is highly deviated from that existing data set. You see the simple example. So I'm using the some IoT temperature sensor data. Okay, two data is example only. So T1 and T2 are the two temperature sensor. Okay, sensor the data. The data are so 10, 10, 11, 9, 12, 12. So I want to know about the what is the average temperature. So what is the meaning of average calculation? So I have to take that value. I have to add all the values divided by the total number of data. So I will get that average value is 10.5. So correct. You see the second data set. So 33, 35, 10, 11, 10, 10. Okay. So here I want to know about the what is the average. So I add all the numbers, divided by 6. I am getting the 18.16. Calculation is correct. But you see the data 18.16. But in the most of the data, the 6 data are there. In the 6 data, 4 data are in the range of 10. Only 2 data only the range of 33. So because of the 2 data, your average is 18.16. Correct. So most of the data are falling in the one range. Some data may be, sometimes it may be highly deviated from the data set. So that data set normally we call as outlier. Here you see my average is 18.6. I am not saying that our calculation is wrong. Our calculation is correct. So this is the way you have to find the average. But comparing with the rest of the other data, if you are including these 2 data only, you are getting this data. That means your data is not in a proper format. Your data is, we can say this type of data, we can say is the imbalanced data. So according to the temperature, I want to decide that what is the temperature. So what is your original temperature is 10. But according to the outlier data, your data temperature is 18.16. Then what is your perception? So my perception is, oh, it is a very hot. I will tell another one simple example for outlier. For example, particular one student got only 10 mark in the subject. Okay, we are a faculty. We ask them, you have to get the sign from your parents. So one student scored the mark 10. So as a faculty, we ask them, because parent has to know how, what is their son studying or what is the daughter studying is going on. Okay, we ask them, we ask the particular student, tomorrow you have to get the sign from the particular paper. Okay, what the student did is, so on the way he add one more 0 in the paper. So original mark is 10. He added the mark in the 0. So what is the, as a parent, what is their, after I am seeing the mark, so after seeing the 100, you see the reaction. So definitely what they may appreciate, they may give some gift, they may give some chocolate. So you see the analysis. Original is 10 means, you see, if the particular student show the original mark to the parents, if he show only the 10 means, what they will do? So immediately they will scold, or they may beat, or their analysis is completely different. But I am including the 0. Immediately, what is the analysis? What is the result? The result is he is getting one chocolate. If he is showing the 10, he will get the beat. If I am showing 100, I am getting the one 5-star chocolate. You see, the because of the 1 0, what is the result? What is the final decision? So that only because that 0 is outlier. Your original data is 10. I added 1 0. That now the data is outlier. It is not a correct data. If the data is outlier data, the data is not in the proper. Finally, your result also wrong. You see, I include these 2 data. My perception is 18.16, high temperature. So I remove these 2 data, then my result is, my average is 10.1. It is a very cold data. So that only the outlier analysis is very, very important part of your data mining or machine learning problem. So when we are gathered the data, we got to identify that what are the data are outlier. So one simple mechanism is there, that is IQR. So interquartile range. So it is one of the simple method. So using that we can identify the outlier. So I will tell you what is the thing means. For example, I have the one data set. So the data set's values are 62, 63, 64 up to 70, 81. So this is the data set. I'm saying the small data set. Normally, generally, it is not a small data. Normally, when we are processing your real data, it may be the more than 100 data points or 1000 data, sorry, 2000, 3000 data will be there. Okay. Sometimes the lakh range of data is also there. So I take the data set, I sorted the data set. Okay, I'm sorting the data set. For that, so first we got to divide the data into 4 quartiles. 4 quartile means we divide the data set into the 25%, 25%, 25%, another 25%. So that means your 50%. So 50% is normally we call as the median. 50% is median. We mark it is a Q2. Q2 is nothing but your median point. So from the Q2, before also we are having the 50% of the data. So after also we are having the 50% of the data is there. So, and the 25% of the data I split with one mark, that is a Q1. And the 75% of the data I marked with the one Q3. So now, so before Q1, we are having the 25% of the data. So Q1 to median, that is a Q2, we are having the 25% of the data. And the median to Q3, we are having another 25% of the data, that means 75%. And Q3 to the rest, so whole remaining 25% of the data, that means your whole data set. That means your whole data set is I divided into the 4 quartiles. Okay, now I want to find that what is the IQR. So IQR is nothing but Q3 minus Q1. Here, according to this data set, what is the value of IQR? IQR is nothing but 77 minus 64, that is 13. So now 13 is the IQR. Now one thumb rule is there. Okay, one thumb rule for identifying the outlier. What is the thumb rule? So Q1 minus 1.5 in the IQR less than the value of outlier. Q3 plus 1.5 in the IQR greater than value of outlier. Don't ask me, sir, why 1.5? It is a standard thumb rule. Okay. So now according to this data set, what is a Q1? Q1 is nothing but 64. So 64 minus 1.5 in the IQR. What is our IQR? 13. Less than that value also. Similarly, Q3. What is Q3? 77 plus 1.5 in the IQR. IQR is 13. Above the value also outlier. So according to this data set, you see, so 44.5 less than below 44.5 and above 96.5, we can call it outliers. So don't include the data. So whenever, because the data, it is not our hand. We are gathered the data some other way. Definitely there's a chance because mechanical fault may be there, machine internal fault may be there, some lot of issues are there for getting the outlier data. So once we are gathered the data set, we have to plot the data set, we have to identify the outliers. So if you are include the outliers in the data, definitely your analysis will be wrong. We cannot able to get the proper prediction. So that only, so first part is we have to do the analysis. That means the data pre-processing. That is the outlier analysis. So another two things. After that, I will complete this thing. Okay, this is you see the temperature data. This is a real time data, temperature data. You see the data set. So I plotted the data set temperature in and outside, inside the room also, outside the room also. I'm reading outside the value, inside value 41. You see the value outside the temperature. That means outside means hot, sunny environment. I gathered the data. The values are 41. Inside the 41, 42. Inside the data, I am getting 29. Okay, that is a general data. So this is the temperature ID and what is the timestamp, because the time temperature IoT data is the data is a time series data. So each sensor data is associated with the timestamp. What time, what date it generated the particular data. So the data is associated with the timestamp value. You see the value. So most of the data are 21, but one value is 11 and one value is 62. So these two values are outlier. So we have to remove the particular sensor. Because that if you keep on using the particular sensor, the particular environment, it will always produce a particular wrong result. So it will gather the wrong data. So we have to identify the outlier. So we have to identify the particular sensor and remove the sensor, or we have to identify the reason why the sensor is producing that some wrong value. So and the outlier is, it is not matter that always upper bound value. Sometimes it may be lower bound also. Sometimes lower bound or sometimes upper bound. So what is the meaning of outlier? Means some data points is not associated with the one data set. You are considering taking the one data set value. Some data points or some data values are entirely deviated from that particular data set. That data set is outlier. Sometimes that data point is okay with the other data set. We cannot say that the value is outlier. Depends upon the data set. We can say that whether it is outlier or not. Now the data transformation, you may also know that one. So we have to normalize the data. So another 2 minutes I will complete. So that we have to normalize the data. We can say it is a min-max normalization, Z-score normalization, normalizing by decimal scaling. Okay. So this is the one simple example I will give you. Okay. See here the salary. The salary, for example, salary, some of the assistant professor we are getting 25-30,000. The professors, they are getting the salary in the range of 3 lakhs. Okay. So you see the range of the salary, 20,000 also there, 3 lakhs also there. Small values also there, huge values also there. Is correct. So I want to normalize the data within the range of 0 to 1. So I have to fix the what is the minimum value, what is the maximum value. So this is one of the formula we have to use. It's a min-max normalization. So what is the, I want to normalize. So what is the minimum value is 19. What is the maximum value is 1 lakh. So minimum value I have to mark as 0. Maximum value I got to mark as a 1. So whatever the values are coming, so all the values I put it in that 0 to 1 only. So you see here right hand side I put 19 is 0 and 1 lakh is 1. So I want to normalize the data. What is the 45,000? What is the normalized value of 45,000? So I apply the formula xi. So xi mean which value you want to normalize, that is a 45,000. Then min x, it is nothing but what is the minimum value is 19,000 divided by what is the maximum value. So maximum value is 1 lakh minus 19,000. So this is a new max, that is not a problem. You give the value, you may get the normalized data, that is a 0.32. So this is the way we have to normalize the data. Okay. So next one is the our metrics for the things are there. So this is an additional second topic. So that we'll see the after the second session, because already time is 1:05. So now the people, you have any doubts, I will clarify.
Good afternoon, Dr. Arun.
Good afternoon, sir.
Sir, you said we will use a thumb rule of 1.5 for outlier elimination.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Is there a way to confirm our outlier selection is correct?
Sir, outlier, actually this is the one thumb rule, sir. This is they are the some people, they are using that this is the one way to identify the outlier. Okay.
Oh, okay, sir.
And somewhere what they are using means, once you sort the whole the data, you cut the top 2% and the bottom 2%.
Okay.
It is a one way. The IQR, I cannot say that always you are using that IQR this formula.
Okay.
The 1.5 this thumb rule. In the IQR formula, this is a Q1 minus 1.5 and the Q3 plus 1.5 in the IQR is the one standard way. We got to identify the outlier. So that means according to this data set, so whatever the values are coming below 44.5, above 76 point, we can consider as outlier. Sometimes it may be original value, it may be a correct value. Maybe some data points they are getting, you see the salary, I am getting that, all the people, they are getting the salary 25,000, 30,000. Some salary people, really the peoples are 1,000 people also there, 1,01,000 people also there. But what the thing is, don't include that data for the analysis. So for example, I will tell one real example, sir. In your department, for example, your 20 faculty members are there. Okay. 20 faculty members are there. You assume that I want to identify that what is your average salary about the particular department. So your people who are getting the 25,000 salary. Some 5 people, they are getting the 3 lakh salary. So I want to see the average. I want to see the average means definitely it will come more than 50, 60,000 will come. But most of the people you are getting 10,000, 2,000 for the 20,000 salary only. Then I cannot say that the 20,000 is here. For this calculation, either you remove your assistant professor that salary or you remove the professor salary. You don't include the particular data for that one. Otherwise, you are getting a wrong result. You separate the data set. You separate the data set in the assistant professor. You calculate the salary, average salary, and the professor you are separate the calculate average salary. Don't include the data. I am not saying that you remove the data set. For the calculation, for the analysis, don't consider the data because that data is not related to the other data points. So that is the concept of outlier. Don't consider the data because that data is not related to the other data points. That is the concept of outlier. Sir, anything? Sir, you got my doubts. Srinivas, sir? Hello.
Clear, sir. Clear, sir.
Clear, sir.
Yes, yes, sir. I'm with you.
Participant, any doubts? One participant.
But sir, is there a way to confirm that?
Any doubts? One participant. Sir, tell me. Is there a way to confirm that? Sir, your voice is breaking, sir. Sir, can you type in the chat box? Sir, tell me.
Sir, is there a way to confirm our outlier selection is correct?
Sir, you only know because I am analyzing on data, sir.
Sure, sir. Sure.
My problem, I know my data set is correct. You see, sir, I am doing the, for example, mark analysis, sir. One mark is in the range of 200. Definitely, I know that this is not a correct mark. Hello? Hello? Sir, outlier analysis, I am pointing only, sir, you mute, I will express. Mute means some echo is coming. Srinivas, sir, you mute, I will tell. Sir, actually, outlier analysis is the IQR is one of the way. So much methods are there. So we will say that definitely all the data points are not coming into the outlier. Definitely some of the data points only be there in the outlier. And the outlier is always not the upper end also. Sometimes the data in layer outlier also there. So for that only the isolation forest and the local outlier factor, some of the outlier analysis methods are there, sir. I will share some of the materials to you. So that will identify the value, that will segregate the value, that will give the value. Then we have to identify that, okay, really this is outlier. Sometimes the algorithm will give some value that will be really a correct data. Then your data may be the long range of data. You see, sir, my analysis, I am taking the data for analyzing the particular one subject mark means the mark should be 0 to 100. So sometimes your mark 200 also you want to include means you have to include, but the algorithm will give the 200 is the outlier. Depends upon our end whether we have to include or remove the thing one. So box plot is the one of the ways, sir. Actually, the box plot is also based on the your IQR only. The IQR value only we are showing in the box plot. That is your Q1, Q2, minimum value, maximum value. So that value we are representing the box plot. The box plot also giving the one of the data visualization way. We have to identify that this is the outlier. But internally, how the box plot is working means internally it is working based on the IQR process only. Sir, any more doubts? Participants?
Hello, sir.
Hello, ma'am.
Sir, if I'm using continuous data, like in case of online social media data,
Okay.
and I need to analyze some anomalies, say suppose I'm having around 70,000 records or so in my data set.
Okay.
So which would be the most appropriate?
Value only we are showing in the box plot. That is your Q1, Q2, minimum value, maximum value. So that value we are representing the box plot. The box plot also giving the one of the data visualization way. We have to identify that this is the outlier. But internally, how the box plot is working is internally it is working based on the IQR process only. Sir, any more doubts? Ma'am.
Yes, sir, please.
Okay, I will tell you now. Okay. Because some echo is coming. I don't know how the echoes are coming. It is whatever I am speaking, I am also getting the same thing. Now, two algorithms are there, the local outlier factor, LOF.
Okay, sir.
LOF and the isolation forest.
Okay, sir.
I mentioned here. So, local factor and then isolation forest algorithm. So, these are mainly is for the anomaly detection, outlier detection, ma'am. If you read the problem on the outlier analysis, definitely you better go through that one, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Sir, any more doubts?
Sir, Arul sir.
Sir.
Sir, very good, sir. Session was nice, sir. Very
Thank you, sir.
interactive. Many participants have asked so many doubts. You have cleared. Hands-on
Okay.
session.
Okay, sir. Afternoon, I thought morning also I will start some hands-on session.
Yeah. That's why I mentioned that. Yes.
I have a lot of hands-on session. I actually I be able to talk the machine learning 2-3 days also. I have a lot of hands-on there, but due to time constraints, we cannot discuss all the topics. So participants, personally you have any doubts, you mail me, or you in my WhatsApp also you ask your doubts, we'll discuss, because we cannot, because every participant you may work on with some other research problem or some other your area. So according to your problem, so definitely you ask your doubts, definitely I will share all the details. Don't worry.
So that is the reason why I have given 3 sessions for you, sir. I know very well.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Today
Okay.
2 sessions, and Friday you are going to take 1 session.
One session,
Okay,
sir.
thank you.
Friday
You
we'll
have
tell.
your- Yeah,
Okay, sir.
yeah. Okay, sir. Have your lunch. By
Okay.
2:25 you will join, sir. No problem. I request all
2:30.
the participants to, yes. 2:25 you can join. All the
Okay.
participants, they have to join by 2:25 exactly, because Haral sir is very curious about the content. So you please join by
Uh,
2:25. Okay, let us break for the lunch. Have your lunch. Happy learning. Thank you. Thank you,
okay.
sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Participants will meet afternoon. Exactly, we'll start
Yeah.
2:30.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.